Today you join me as we head across campus to Kent Hall, which is the home of our Department of Psychological Sciences, where we are going to talk with two great psychology professors and researchers, Dr. Karin Coifman and Dr. John Gunstad. And these two professors are engaged in the beginnings of a longitudinal and massive research study of some 10,000 Kent State students to understand better what kinds of habits and practices drive student success. So here we are at Kent Hall, and hey, lo and behold, it's Drs. Coifman and Gunstad. Hey,
Hi.
welcome to The Big Idea. Come on in.
Okay, thank you.
So thanks for joining me today and talk about your student life project, which is, I understand it, is a pretty massive, I don't know, something like following 10,000 Kent State students over some lengthy amount of time. Why don't you talk to us a little bit about how you got the idea for this project? Because it's a pretty big undertaking.
It's a huge undertaking, and it's an idea actually that really should be attributed to John. You know, the time that students are in college is this really pivotal shift in their development where they're forming habits for a lifetime. And this generation of students in college today is really the first generation that grew up with social media. So Facebook existed when they were born, and therefore there's this whole other social context in which they're operating where we really don't understand the consequences and circumstances of that.
So are you going to ask all 10,000 students exactly the same questions in exactly the same order, or how does that work?
We're going to take advantage of some of the really cool new developments in measurement design, and we're using what's called a measurement burst design. So we do bursts of intense measurement that are spaced out over time so it's not too burdensome. And so students will generally do the same assessments, but they may not do them exactly at the same moment. And they'll do them in all different kinds of ways. So on their smartphone, on their computer, some of it in person as well.
So is it fair to say that in addition to whatever findings emerge, just the design and the way you're doing the project, doing the research is in itself noteworthy? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, very much so. Yep, this is a first-of-a-kind study. No one has done anything like this, certainly not on this scale or kind of combining all these separate elements. So we're the first ones to do this here at Kent State. All right, if we have a minute, we may just actually want to stop in the DI Hub. We have one of our labs over here, and you might have a chance to meet some of our students.
Psychological Sciences is over in Kent Hall. Why the DI Hub?
The DI Hub is this like fantastic collaborative space, and this is really a collaborative project, right? So we have faculty from across the university, so it's ideal suited for a space like this, but also it's really central in campus. We wanted the project to be convenient to students.
So here we are at the Student Life Study Studios, that's what I'm going to call it.
This is Dr. Julia Richmond. She's a postdoc
Hi, Dr.
researcher.
Julia.
Hi, nice to meet you.
So, Dr. Julia, I see people and I see computers. What's that all about over there?
So we have this space in here so that students can come in and do various different projects on the computer, various different studies. We're going to be having studies from all kinds of different departments from the university, and so some of those need to be in person in order to do this, and that's what this space is.
Is there another way for a student to register their evaluation or to be evaluated other than on a computer?
And we do have some other devices that we'll be using to collect data.
So we got computers.
We have some computers
and we got
in the
tiny
lab.
computers.
We have some smaller computers.
Okay.
And so one of the things we're going to be having students do is complete surveys at home. And we're interested in what's going on physiologically while they're completing those surveys. And so if you don't mind, I
Okay,
can get you all
physiologically.
set up. Yes.
What does that mean?
So we have these little devices, these wristbands that collect heart rate data, so how fast your heart is beating. And they also collect skin conductance data, so how much sweat activity is going on in the skin. Wow. So do you mind if I hook you up and
Yeah, what are we doing
what's
here?
going on? Yeah.
Roll up a sleeve.
So I'm going to ask that I can put this on your non-dominant hand.
So are you going to ask participants to wear these for an extended amount of time, or how's that work?
So they'll be set up to wear it for 7 days while they're responding to questions, and then we'll ask them actually to keep wearing them for as long as they're willing. They basically get to keep them.
As we wrap this up, I mean, how many years do you hope to do this? Are we talking about 6 months, a year? What are we talking about?
So the idea here is to do these kinds of assessments over the time that students are at Kent State, and then to continue following them as long as we can. I mean, we're hoping to have funding to keep the project going through the lifetime of these students.
Well, this is really impressive. And I particularly love the fact that you've involved the students both at the graduate level and the undergraduate level. So thanks for appearing on What's the Big Idea? And I really look forward to watching this over the next months and years.